Hello, everyone. Tonight, as the darkness gathers around you, we're going to drift beneath the waves to a place of mystery, a place of wonder, a place where death itself seems optional, to the realm of creatures who challenge everything we think we know about life. Creatures who can turn back time, who can reverse aging, who may never truly die. The jellyfish. These ancient drifters pulsing through the ocean, seemingly fragile, seemingly simple, but carrying within them a secret that has eluded humanity for all of history. The secret of immortality. Not the immortality of legend, of myth, of fantasy, but real, biological immortality. The ability to cheat death, to begin again, to never truly end. How is this possible? How can something so delicate, so transparent, so vulnerable, possess the one thing humans have sought forever? Tonight, we'll drift through their mystery, one revelation at a time, gently exploring each aspect of their impossible gift, each biological wonder, each evolutionary marvel. There's no hurry. Let the waves carry you deeper, and together we'll discover how jellyfish found the secret to living forever. But before we begin, please like and subscribe. It really makes me happy. Let's begin our journey into the timeless deep. The first mystery is the creature itself, Turritopsis Dohrnii, the immortal jellyfish. But calling it just immortal doesn't capture the strangeness, the impossibility of what it does. This jellyfish, no bigger than a pinky fingernail, smaller than a coin, drifting in the ocean. It lives its life like any jellyfish. Eats, grows, reproduces, ages. But then, when faced with death, when injured or starving or simply old, it does something extraordinary. It doesn't die. Instead, it transforms. It reverts. It goes backward. The adult jellyfish, the medusa form, sinks to the ocean floor, and there it begins to change. Its bell-shaped body collapses, its tentacles retract, its entire structure reorganizes. Cell by cell, tissue by tissue, it transforms back into its juvenile form, a polyp, the stage it was in when it was young, before it was a jellyfish. And then, from that polyp, it grows again, becomes a jellyfish again, lives again. The same individual, not an offspring, not a clone, the same one. Born again, reborn, reset. It's called transdifferentiation, this process. The ability of cells to change their identity, to become something else entirely. In the immortal jellyfish, specialized cells, cells that had already decided what they were, cells that were committed, they transform. A muscle cell becomes a nerve cell. A digestive cell becomes a reproductive cell. The entire organism reorganizes itself at the cellular level. It's as if a butterfly could transform back into a caterpillar, as if an adult human could revert to being an embryo. Impossible, and yet it happens. In the ocean. Right now, constantly. The process takes a few days. The jellyfish settles. The transformation begins. The cells reprogram themselves. And when it's done, the polyp is there, young again, ready to grow, ready to become a jellyfish once more. And this can happen again and again, potentially forever. Every time death approaches, the jellyfish can choose to restart, to go back, to live again. No limit known, no maximum number of cycles, just endless potential renewal. This ability, this immortality, it evolved over millions of years. Jellyfish have existed for over 500 million years, ancient beyond measure, older than dinosaurs, older than trees. And throughout that vast time, they've been experimenting, evolving, adapting. Most jellyfish, when they age or get injured, they die. That's it, the end. But somewhere, in one lineage, a mutation occurred, a genetic change, something that allowed cells to transform. Maybe it started small. Maybe just a few cells could change their identity, just a partial regeneration. But the jellyfish that could do this, even a little, they survived situations that killed others. They lived longer, reproduced more, passed on those genes. Generation after generation, the ability refined, improved, expanded. Natural selection favoring the most flexible cells, the most adaptable organisms. Until eventually, millions of years later, we arrived at Turritopsis Dohrnii, the one that perfected it, the one that can fully reverse, the one that achieved biological immortality, not through planning, not through intelligence, just through time, through mutation, through survival, evolution writing the secret of eternal life into the genes of a tiny jellyfish. And the jellyfish, unaware of its own miracle, just continues, drifting, transforming, living, forever. We humans, we've searched for immortality since we could think, since we could imagine. We've written stories about it, fountains of youth, philosopher's stones, elixirs of life. We've created religions around it, promised eternal life, heaven, reincarnation, transcendence. We've pursued it scientifically, studied aging, researched regeneration, sought the cure for death, and we've failed. Every time. We age, we deteriorate, we die. The longest any human has lived is about 122 years. Then death comes, inevitable, final. But a jellyfish, a creature without a brain, without bones, without even a true heart, it found the answer. Not through seeking, not through trying, just through being what evolution made it. And now scientists study it, desperately, trying to understand, trying to learn. How do the cells know to transform? What triggers the process? What genes are involved? Can we replicate it? Can we use it? Can we somehow learn to do what the jellyfish does? We've barely begun to understand. The process is complex, mysterious, still mostly unknown, but the jellyfish doesn't need to understand. It just does it, naturally, perfectly, while we watch, amazed, humbled, jealous perhaps, of this tiny creature that solved the problem we cannot solve. Picture the ocean floor, somewhere warm, somewhere tropical. Night has fallen. A small jellyfish, translucent, ghostly, has been drifting near the surface. She's old by jellyfish standards. Her tissues damaged, her energy fading. In any other creature, this would be the end. Death approaching, inevitable. But she is Turritopsis Dohrnii. She begins to sink, slowly, gently, down through the darkening water, down to the sandy bottom, to the rocks, to rest. She settles there, her bell pulsing weakly, her tentacles trailing, and then the transformation begins. You can't see it with your eyes. It's happening at the cellular level, inside her, genes activating, proteins forming, signals cascading through her body. Her tentacles start to retract, slowly, drawing inward, disappearing into her body. Her bell begins to collapse, the graceful dome flattening, losing its shape. She's dissolving in a way, reorganizing, breaking down to build up, differently. Over hours, over days, she changes. What was a swimming jellyfish becomes a stationary polyp, clinging to a rock. Tiny, simple, the same individual, the same cells, but transformed, reprogrammed, young. And in a few weeks, that polyp will bud, will grow, will release a new jellyfish, the same one, born again, swimming again, living again. She won't remember. There's no memory, no consciousness, no sense of self, just the endless cycle. Death approaching, transformation, rebirth, again and again, forever, potentially, forever. There's something profound about this, about the jellyfish's gift. It challenges our understanding of what life is, what death means. We think of life as linear, birth, growth, aging, death. One direction, one path. The jellyfish shows us it doesn't have to be that way, that life can be circular, can loop back, can restart. We think of death as final. The end, the conclusion, the inevitable destination. The jellyfish suggests maybe it's optional. Maybe it's just another stage, one that can be reversed. And it makes you wonder, what is death really? Is it the cessation of being, or just a transition, a transformation we haven't learned to reverse? The jellyfish doesn't philosophize about it, doesn't think about it. It just lives. And when death comes, it transforms and lives again. Simple, natural, effortless. While we struggle with the very concept, with the fear, with the inevitability, maybe there's wisdom in the jellyfish's way. Not in the immortality itself, but in the acceptance, in the flowing, in the transforming, in the letting go of one form to become another. We cling so hard to staying the same, to preserving what we are. But the jellyfish teaches, to continue, you must change. To live again, you must let go of what you were. Now let's explore another aspect of this mystery, the biological cost, or rather, the lack of one. Because immortality in our imagination always comes with a price, a curse, a burden. But for the jellyfish, it seems almost effortless, natural, without consequence. When it transforms back to a polyp, it doesn't just survive, it thrives. The new jellyfish that grows from that polyp, it's healthy, vigorous, perfect. No accumulated damage, no scars from its previous life, no genetic degradation. It's as if aging never happened, as if time was truly reversed. This is what makes it true immortality. Not just long life, not just resistance to aging, but actual reversal, actual renewal, complete cellular reset. In most organisms, aging happens because of accumulated damage. Cells divide, errors accumulate, telomeres shorten, mutations build up. Even in creatures that live a long time, the damage is there, wearing them down, slowly, inevitably. But Turritopsis Dohrnii, when it transforms, it resets that damage, clears it, starts fresh. The cells reprogram themselves completely, back to an embryonic state, back to youth. Scientists call it cellular rejuvenation, the holy grail of aging research. And the jellyfish does it, completely, naturally. There's a gene involved called TRT. It codes for telomerase reverse transcriptase, an enzyme that rebuilds telomeres. Telomeres are like the caps on the ends of shoelaces. They protect our DNA, but they shorten every time cells divide. Eventually, they get too short, and the cell can't divide anymore. It ages, it dies, but telomerase rebuilds them, extends them, potentially indefinitely. Most adult organisms don't express much telomerase. We can't. Our cells age. But the immortal jellyfish, when it transforms, it floods its cells with telomerase, rebuilding the telomeres, restoring the youth, resetting the clock. And it has other genes too. Genes that control cell differentiation, genes that manage stress, genes that repair DNA, all working together, all coordinated, all perfectly balanced. The result? Complete renewal. No cost, no trade-off, just transformation and rebirth. This evolved because the environment demanded it. The ocean is harsh, unpredictable. Food scarcity, predators, injury, pollution, temperature changes. A jellyfish that could only live once, that couldn't adapt, that couldn't recover, it would die. But one that could transform, that could reset, that could try again, it would survive. The ability to reverse aging, to start over, it's not just immortality, it's survival insurance. When times are hard, transform. Become a polyp, wait it out, then grow again when conditions improve. When injured, transform, heal by resetting, emerge whole again. When old, transform, erase the years, be young again. Natural selection favored this flexibility, this resilience, this adaptability, and the genes that allowed it spread, refined, became more efficient until we arrived here at a creature that doesn't just survive aging, that reverses it completely, perfectly, endlessly. We humans, we can't do this. Our cells are too specialized, too committed. A heart cell is a heart cell. It can't become a brain cell. It can't revert to a stem cell. Our bodies are rigid, structured, organized in ways that prevent this kind of transformation. And maybe that's good in a way. That rigidity gives us complexity, gives us brains, gives us thought, but it also gives us limits, gives us aging, gives us death. The jellyfish chose differently. Flexibility over complexity, transformation over permanence. And it got immortality. We're trying to learn from it. Gene therapy research, stem cell studies, anti-aging medicine. Scientists have identified some of the genes involved, started to understand the mechanisms. But replicating it in humans? That's still science fiction, still decades away, maybe forever away. The jellyfish has millions of years of evolution behind this ability. We've had a few decades of study. We're children trying to understand something ancient, something refined, something perfect. But we keep trying because the promise is too great to ignore. The possibility that we too could reverse aging, could reset, could live again, like the jellyfish, drifting in the eternal ocean, never truly dying. Imagine a laboratory, bright lights, microscopes, aquariums filled with jellyfish. A scientist named Dr. Chen is observing one particular specimen, a small Turritopsis Dohrnii. She's been tracking this individual for months, watching, recording, measuring. The jellyfish is aging, its movements slower, its tissues showing wear. Dr. Chen knows what's coming. She's seen it before. The transformation. She watches as the jellyfish sinks to the bottom of the tank, settles on a rock. Her equipment monitors it, cameras recording, sensors measuring cellular activity. The transformation begins, tentacles retracting, bell collapsing. On the molecular level, genes are switching on and off, proteins forming, cells changing identity. Dr. Chen sees the data, the spike in telomerase, activity, the expression of pluripotency genes, markers that in most organisms only appear in embryos, in the very beginning of life. But here, in an adult jellyfish, they're flooding back, turning back the clock. Over 3 days, she watches the jellyfish become a polyp, complete transformation, and she takes samples, analyzes the cells, studies the DNA, comparing it to samples from before, looking for changes, looking for answers. The DNA is the same individual, but the cellular age reset to 0, telomeres rebuilt, damage cleared, youth restored. It's impossible, and yet it's happening, right there, under the microscope. Dr. Chen makes notes, adds to the growing body of research, the accumulating knowledge, hoping that someday, somehow, this knowledge will translate, will apply, will help humanity to understand aging, to reverse it, to defeat death. The jellyfish doesn't care about any of this, doesn't know it's being studied. It just does what it does, what millions of years taught it to do: transform, survive, live forever. And in a few weeks, it will be a jellyfish again, swimming, pulsing, drifting, the same one, reborn, continuing its endless cycle, while Dr. Chen watches, amazed, hopeful, humbled by the small miracle in her tank. There's something beautiful about immortality when you really think about it. Not as a human concept, not as eternal consciousness, not as never-ending memory, but as the jellyfish experiences it, as transformation, as renewal, as letting go. The jellyfish doesn't accumulate centuries of experience. doesn't remember its past lives. Each rebirth is fresh, new, unburdened by what came before. It's not the same mind living forever. It's the same being, constantly renewed. And maybe that's better. Maybe that's wiser. We fear death because we don't want to lose ourselves, our memories, our identity, our consciousness. But the jellyfish shows another way. Keep the essence, the being, the life, but let go of the accumulation, the damage, the weight of time. Be reborn, fresh, clean, young, not remembering the old life, not carrying it forward, just being. Again, it's a different kind of immortality, not preservation, but renewal, and it works. It's survived for millions of years. It will survive for millions more. While we, clinging to our consciousness, our memories, ourselves, we age. We die, we end. Maybe the price of consciousness is mortality. The price of memory is death. And maybe the jellyfish, in its simplicity, found the better path. Not thinking, not remembering, not clinging, just being, transforming, living forever. Finally, let's talk about what this means for the ocean, for the ecosystem, for life itself. If jellyfish can live forever, why isn't the ocean filled with ancient immortals? Why aren't there jellyfish that have been alive for thousands of years? The answer is simple. Immortality doesn't mean invulnerability. The jellyfish can reverse aging, but it can't survive being eaten, can't survive being crushed. Predators still hunt it. Fish, turtles, other jellyfish, humans even. Most jellyfish die long before they get old enough to need to transform. Death comes from outside, from predation, from accident, from the harsh ocean. The immortality is a backup, a safety net, a last resort. When aging threatens, transform. But when a fish's mouth closes around you, there's no transformation, just death. So the ocean maintains balance. The jellyfish population doesn't explode, doesn't overwhelm. They live, they reproduce, they die, like everything else. But some, a lucky few, when death comes from age or injury or starvation, they transform, they reset, they live again. And that gives them an edge, a slightly higher survival rate, a slightly better chance. Enough to thrive, enough to spread, but not enough to dominate. The ecosystem remains balanced, the immortals and the mortals coexisting, flowing together. This ability, this immortality, it evolved in a specific context, a specific niche, for a small jellyfish, in warm waters, with specific needs, specific vulnerabilities. It's not a universal solution, not a path every organism can take. Larger organisms, more complex organisms, face different pressures, different challenges. For them, immortality might not be advantageous, might not be worth the evolutionary cost. Because everything is a trade-off. Everything has a price. The jellyfish gained immortality, but it remained simple, small, brainless. It never evolved complexity, never developed intelligence, never became more than it is. Maybe it couldn't. Maybe immortality and complexity are incompatible. Maybe you have to choose, simple and eternal, or complex and mortal. Different strategies, different solutions, different paths through the game of life. And both work. Both survive. Both have their place. The jellyfish drifting through eternity, humanity burning bright and brief. Neither better, neither worse. Just different, just alive, just being. This immortality evolved millions of years ago, and it persists, unchanged. The same mechanism, the same transformation, the same reversal. Through ice ages, through mass extinctions, through every catastrophe Earth has seen. The jellyfish survived, transforming, resetting, living, while species around it went extinct, while the world changed, while empires of life rose and fell. The jellyfish remained, constant, immortal, eternal, not through dominance, not through conquest, just through flexibility, through the ability to start over, to be young again, to wait out the hard times. And now, in the modern ocean, polluted, warming, changing, it still survives, still drifts, still transforms, still lives, maybe forever, maybe until the sun burns out, maybe until the ocean itself is gone. The immortal jellyfish, the creature that defeated death, not through strength, not through intelligence, just through the simple, impossible ability to go back, to be young again, to live again, to never truly end. We humans, we're fascinated by this, obsessed even, because it represents what we want, what we've always wanted, life without end. We study it, analyze it, try to unlock its secrets, and maybe someday we will. Maybe we'll learn to do what the jellyfish does, to reverse our aging, to reset our cells, to live again and again. But even if we do, even if we achieve biological immortality, will it be the same? Will we be content to transform, to let go of our memories, to reset ourselves? Or will we cling to consciousness, to identity, to self? And in clinging, will we miss the point? Will we fail to understand the jellyfish's wisdom? That immortality isn't about preserving, it's about renewing, not holding on, but letting go and beginning again. The jellyfish doesn't fear death, doesn't fight it, doesn't rage against it. It simply transforms, flows into the next stage, becomes young again, peaceful, natural, effortless. Maybe that's the real lesson. Not how to live forever, but how to let go, how to accept transformation, how to embrace renewal, how to die and be reborn. Not literally, perhaps, not biologically, but in spirit, in mindset, in approach to life, letting go of what we were, transforming into what we need to be, beginning again, as many times as necessary, as many times as life requires, like the jellyfish, drifting through the endless ocean, immortal, eternal, free. Let's step back now and see the complete picture, the evolutionary journey of jellyfish immortality. It begins over 500 million years ago. Jellyfish emerging from the ancient oceans, simple, drifting, surviving. For hundreds of millions of years, they lived and died like everything else. One life, one chance. But mutations happened, as they always do. Random changes in DNA, most meaningless, some harmful, a few beneficial, and somewhere in one lineage, a mutation occurred that allowed cells to transform, to change their identity. Maybe it started with regeneration, the ability to regrow a lost tentacle, a damaged part. Jellyfish that could regenerate survived injuries that killed others, lived longer, reproduced more, and the genes for regeneration spread, became common, became normal. But in one line, it went further. The cells didn't just regenerate, they transformed, they reprogrammed, and when faced with death, when old or starving or damaged, they could revert, become young again. At first, maybe it was imperfect, maybe only partial, maybe it didn't always work, but it worked enough to provide an advantage, enough to be selected for. Generation after generation, the mechanism refined, the genes multiplied, the process improved, until millions of years later we arrived at Turritopsis Dohrnii, the immortal jellyfish, the one that perfected it, the one that can fully reverse, the one that never has to die of age. Not through planning, not through purpose, just through the blind watchmaker of evolution, through time and chance and survival, through pressure and adaptation, through the endless refinement of life. And now it exists, drifting in oceans around the world, transforming when needed, living indefinitely. A creature that solved the problem we cannot solve, that found the answer we cannot find. Not because it's smarter, not because it's better, just because evolution took it down a different path. A path of transformation, of renewal, of immortality, and it will continue. For as long as oceans exist, for as long as conditions allow, the immortal jellyfish, living, transforming, surviving, forever, while we watch, while we study, while we wonder. Can we do what it does? Should we? What would it mean? These questions remain unanswered, open, eternal as the jellyfish itself. So here we are, at the end of our journey into the timeless deep. We've drifted through the mystery of jellyfish immortality, the transformation itself, reverting from adult to juvenile, resetting at the cellular level, achieving true biological renewal. The biological mechanism, transdifferentiation, telomerase activation, complete cellular reprogramming, all without cost or consequence. The evolutionary path, millions of years of refinement, natural selection for flexibility, survival through transformation. The ecological balance, immortality tempered by predation, a survival advantage without dominance, the ocean remaining balanced. And we've seen what it means, what it teaches, what it reveals, about life and death, about transformation and renewal, about letting go and beginning again. But here's what strikes me most as we prepare to drift into sleep. The jellyfish doesn't know it's immortal, doesn't understand its gift, doesn't celebrate its victory over death. To the jellyfish, it's just existing, just being, just doing what feels natural. When death approaches, it transforms, not from fear, not from desire, just from instinct, and it begins again. Not remembering, not planning, not hoping, just being. Again, fresh, new, unburdened. And maybe that's the deepest wisdom, the truest lesson, that immortality, if it exists, isn't about never dying. It's about endless renewal, not preserving what is, but transforming into what's needed, again and again. Not clinging to the past, but releasing it, letting it go, becoming new. The jellyfish teaches us that death might not be the end, just a transition, a transformation. What seems final might be optional, that what seems inevitable might be reversible, not through technology, not through medicine, but through the simple willingness to transform, to let go of what we were, to become something else, to begin again. Maybe we can't reverse our aging, can't reset ourselves, can't live forever, but maybe we can transform in other ways, let go in other ways, begin again in other ways. Every day is a chance to start over. Every moment an opportunity to release the old, to embrace the new, not literally becoming young, but becoming fresh, becoming open, becoming renewed, in spirit, in mindset, in heart, like the jellyfish, not through biology, but through choice, through willingness, through surrender, letting go of who we were yesterday, transforming into who we need to be today, beginning again tomorrow, as many times as needed, as many times as life requires. That's the gift the jellyfish offers, not the secret of eternal life, but the wisdom of eternal renewal. So as you drift off tonight, let that settle in. The image of a small jellyfish, transparent, delicate, drifting through dark water, facing death, not fighting it, not fearing it, just transforming, sinking to the bottom, releasing its form, becoming something else, something young, and then rising again, swimming again, living again, new, fresh, unburdened. You cannot reverse your age, cannot reset your cells, cannot live forever, but you can transform, can let go, can begin again, every day, every moment, every breath, releasing what was, embracing what is, opening to what will be, like the jellyfish, immortal not through never dying, but through constant renewal, through endless transformation, through perpetual beginning. That's the mystery. That's the gift. That's the wisdom. Not immortality of form, but immortality of spirit. Not preservation, but transformation. Not clinging, but releasing and beginning again. Rest now like the jellyfish rests, between lives, between forms, releasing the old, preparing for the new, trusting the transformation. Let the image drift through your mind, settling, calming, soothing, the endless ocean, the drifting jellyfish, the eternal cycle, death and rebirth, ending and beginning, again and again. You are part of this cycle, this transformation, this renewal, not in body perhaps, but in being, in essence, in spirit. Every day you end, every day you begin, every day you transform. Like the jellyfish, immortal, eternal, free. Sleep now, peaceful, renewed, complete. Like a jellyfish between transformations, resting, releasing, beginning again. Everything is well. Everything is exactly as it should be. Good night.